have a full panel discussion, as well as take any questions from the audience as time allows. We have a set of preset questions that we will start with. After that is over, you will then head into a breakout room where you will have a chance to connect with a representative or representatives from each of the schools listed. At some point tonight, you'll see the links pop up for those breakout rooms in the chat. Before we begin, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. We are recording these sessions. The idea is that these sessions live on after the 2021 Ed Fair is over. They will be available on the website for folks to take a look in the event that maybe you heard something you wanted to double check on, or that if you missed a session, the recordings will be available in both English and Spanish. Attendance. If you have not already, there should be a link in the chat. This is our way of taking attendance. Super important because you get a really cool conference prize once you fill out that form. Everyone who attends tonight will get a prize mailed over to them. You also get entered into a raffle for a chance to win a $50 Target gift card at the end of this session, and to be entered into the bigger raffle where you can win prizes like a $250 gift card or an Amazon Fire and just some other really cool things, a Chromebook even. So once you see that link in the chat, please feel free to fill that out and get entered into this raffle. We all love free stuff. All right, if you have not already, go ahead and give the Whova app a download. It's actually really cool. It's the official app of the 2021 West Contra Costa Education Fair. It has all the links for all the sessions. We still have about 3 days left of sessions. So go ahead and download that. You can go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download that. There's links to all the sessions, bios of the panelists, and an opportunity to just explore more of the community organizations that are a part of the West Contra Costa ecosystem. That conference code, once you download the app, is EdFair 2021, all together, capital E and a capital F. If you have not already, check out the EdFair website, www.wccedfair.com. Again, all the sessions that have been recorded are going to be posted up on that website. The full agenda is there as well as some additional resources. There's a lot of requests for sessions, but there are not as many days as we would like. So there's a ton of pre-recorded sessions already up on that website. Go check it out. It's really fun and a lot of really good information there. Lastly, feedback. We all love feedback. We all want to get better. The 2022 Ed Fair will be here before we know it. Filling out this form in the Whova app helps the team get better at putting on a program that is helpful to parents in the community. So if you can, at the end of the session, please fill out the session feedback form that you can find in the Whova app. All right, and at the end, as I mentioned earlier, directly after we talk to this panel of talented educators, you will have a chance to go into individual breakout meet and greet rooms. You see the links up there, but we will make sure that we put them in the chat. So go ahead and pop into one of those as soon as we are done with the panel. And again, making sure you're in the right place. This is the Hercules family joined by West County Mandarin School. Panelists, let's have a good time tonight. It's a, like I said before, it's a historic day, and you all are fabulous schools. So let's help the community learn a little bit more about you all. We're going to start off with some introductions and then head into the preset questions. For those of you who do not know me, I am Sarah Sandu. I'm the Director of Communications for Go Public Schools. Most importantly, for the purpose of this panel, I'm a graduate of the Hercules family of schools, so it is an absolute honor to be talking to these leaders today. And I'm really excited for everyone to just learn more about what we got going on in Hercules and what we have going on at the West County Mandarin School. It's going to be really fun. Folks, there are bios available, I believe, in the Whova app, so you can keep your introductions a little shorter, but we will start out with Poppy. I'm going to go to you. The principal of my first alma mater.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Poppy Sheldon, and I am the principal at Lupine Hills Elementary. I just started in August, so what a crazy year to start as a principal, right? Right in the middle of COVID and distance learning. So that has been a real challenge, but the community and the students have really come together to make this, as positive of an experience as possible. So Lupine, real fast, we have about 420 students. And what else can I say? And I'm just looking forward to meeting with you tonight. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Poppy. And Kim, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Awesome. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Moses, and I am the principal of Ohlone Elementary School. This is my third year as the principal at Ohlone, but it is my 14th year as a school administrator. All 14 years in West Contra Costa Unified School District, and I am a proud graduate of our school, pre-K to 12, of our school district, pre-K to 12, so I'm homegrown. At Ohlone, we have 489 students currently, and our motto is represent excellence.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. What school did you graduate from?
Kennedy High School.
Oh, right.
Go Eagles.
They're going to be talking to everyone, I believe, on Friday. So if you want to check that panel out, it should be really fun.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kim. And Greg, over to you.
Hi, I'm Greg Santiago, principal of Hannah Ranch Elementary School, also a resident here of Hercules. My kids went to Hannah Ranch. One goes to Hercules Middle, and one is still with me. Let's see, I've been at Hannah Ranch now for about 9 years, maybe 10. And then I've been a principal in the district for about 16 years at different schools. And then I've also been a teacher here as well. So it's about 21 years altogether. I've been with West Contra Costa Unified School District. So nice to meet you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Greg. G.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny, and then this is my first year in the leadership role as the IB coordinator in West County Mandarin School. And so our school is there are about 300 students in our school currently. And so speaking of me being a new role as a leader, I feel excited. I'm learning every day, especially in such a crucial environment where the pandemic is it's going crazy right now. So I'm very nice to meet you. It's very nice to meet you, and then I can't wait to share a lot about our school with you. Thank
Great.
you.
We are so happy to have you. There's a lot of experience on this board, so hopefully if you need some tips, there's some experienced principals on the panel. Mr. Shaw.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for having us here this evening so we could share about the wonderful work we're doing at our schools in Hercules. I'm the principal at Hercules Middle School. This is my third year as principal, but this is my 7th year as an admin there. I spent 4 years as the assistant principal there. Came on when the school was split from Hercules Middle High into 2 separate admin teams. Prior to that, I taught 9 years at Kennedy High School. So there's a lot of interdistrict play with our panelists because we've been in the district a while. Hercules Middle School, we have 625 students and about 200 per grade level. We're also the only middle school in the district that has 6th grade. So we're a 6, 7, 8. All of the other middle schools are 7, 8, and we do have a few K-8s also in the district.
Thank you for clarifying. I was just going to ask you if you could share what the grade levels were. All right. And Miss Taylor for Hercules High School, bring it home.
Hi, my name is Marcela Taylor. I am an assistant principal at Hercules High School. I grew up in the Bay Area, Berkeley, Richmond, and Hercules. I have been at Hercules High School for a year and a half. We are a four-year comprehensive high school. Our enrollment is 894 students, including 226 seniors. We offer a college preparatory program that includes 13 AP courses and 3 honors courses. And a Titan Scholar is a student who demonstrates academic excellence throughout all their classes, in addition to being meaningful and responsible contributors to local, national, and global communities. Thank you for being here.
Woo, go Titans. I had to do it. Thank you all so much. So we're going to get started with our preset questions before we head into the open audience portion. We're going to start with asking you leaders about your vision for the school. And for this, I would love to hear from Miss Kim.
Sure. Okay, so as an instructional leader, our vision that we've crafted together at Ohlone is that we want to ensure that our school is a place where everyone feels welcome, where all students are actively engaged in the learning process, and where all students are learning to be well prepared to be our great future leaders with an inclusive societal lens. So personally, as an instructional leader, I also believe that school should be a happy place every day for students, and that learning should be continually engaging so as to continue to have curiosity lead the way. So those are my visions as a school leader.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Greg, over to you at Hannah Ranch. Your vision as the leader of the school.
I guess Hannah Ranch is continually moving to be in a more distributive leadership type of a model, which means we want a lot of collaboration. We want a lot of family collaboration. We want a teacher collaboration. The schools generally, I guess, vision is based upon what our community sees as the importance of what a child gets in school. So for instance, one of the biggest things right now that we're really focusing on is socio-emotional learning and caring. We want our kids to be confident when they come out of our school. We want them to be aware or prepared. We want them to be empathetic and aware to a certain extent of the social issues that are surrounding us right now. I think it's a great time to engage in those types of conversations. So in essence, I guess that's pretty much us in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Miss Poppy. And this is year one for you, Miss Poppy, is that right?
It is, yes.
All right. So new leader. What's the vision?
Yeah, it's all pretty new. So for me, what's really important, first of all, has been just getting to know the staff and the community and learning just how much this community cares about one another. For me, one of the biggest parts about being a leader is being that person that students see when they first get off the bus or they first come out of the car and they see that principal who's like, hey, good morning, how are you? You know, I've always got a coffee mug in my hand. I'm definitely that person who is extremely approachable. We also have many students at Lupine who receive special services. And that piece to me is extremely crucial when it comes to our social emotional learning, as well as the inclusivity and really knowing that this community takes care of one another. And when we're at Lupine, we all support each other. And not only are we there to learn, but we're also there to build a community of people who really care about one another and let other people know that, hey, you know, sometimes people have differences and look at how unique that makes us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And Miss G.
Yes, so our school mission and purpose is to educate the whole child and to prepare the next generations of leaders for a globally connected world. We value enriching our students' education with STEAM, art, music, physical education, cultural diversity, and social emotional learning. And also we are an IB candidate school, and we are expected to be authorized in April this year. To be an IB World School is a decision developed by our whole community, not just the principal. And we really like the concept of transdisciplinary curriculum, which is the framework of IB, by which it means students don't just learn the subject by subject, they apply all the content skills to solve real life problems. Another important mission is to promote bilingual education. So we believe bilingual education develops important cognitive skills such as problem solving, logic, critical thinking, and creativity, because it exercises your brain and forces you to think about how you can express effectively, how you can convey your thoughts with the vocabulary you possess in each language. So as the world becomes smaller, we feel the importance of equipping ourselves and our students with a foreign language to help us better connect with the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shaw, over to you.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, so Hercules Middle School is a very diverse middle school. We have folks from all across the district. We have a pretty well balance of our students in terms of our ethnic and racial mix. And so a lot of our vision right now is how do we lean in and embrace that diversity and meet students where they are, equip them with the tools they need to be academically successful and move them further than they thought they could go. And then also with the middle school, it's important to be nurturing because it's a very developmental age. They're not elementary, they're not high school. They think they're both. And so it's like really instilling we have our positive behavior intervention supports values of being kind, safe, and responsible. And for middle school, that is a key part of our vision for nurturing those students.
I want to ask you a quick follow-up. You mentioned earlier in your intro that Hercules Middle and Hercules High have split. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah, so as originally conceived, Hercules Middle High School was a 6 through 12 campus. And so there were students, it was still in half. So if you drive up or down Refugio, whichever way you're going, eventually you'll see the school. In the middle, sort of the middle, there's an administrative parking lot and building. That's kind of the middle line for both campuses. And when you're looking at the school from the street, the middle school is on the left-hand side. If anybody has been coming to the school on Thursdays, it used to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, now it's just Thursdays for meal distribution, that's on the middle school side. That's our turnaround, and that's actually the main entrance gate for when we're in live in-school session. The shared spaces are really the library and part of the office. On occasion, the middle school will borrow the high school field or high school gym for some PE activities or whole school activities. But for the most part, that's the only overlap. And so the high school's on one half and the middle school's on the other half.
Great. So the name is no longer Hercules Middle High School. It is now Hercules Middle School and Hercules High School. Is that?
Yes. Still one address.
Right.
And still one phone number. And so if you do call the school, the first option takes you to the middle school. The second option takes you to the high school.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. And Ms. Taylor, tell us about Hercules High School, the leader's vision.
Hi, at Hercules High School, we believe in high expectations, high support through connectedness, engagement, and student empowerment. We're developing our two pathways, academic pillar, instruction, and climate and culture through PBIS and social emotional learning. And we're doing that framed through equity. We believe in developing diverse 21st century scholars and leaders demonstrating integrity and academic excellence. We believe that all students will successfully demonstrate academic excellence in common core disciplines that enable them to be meaningful and responsible contributors to local, national, and global communities.
Thank you so very much. I'm going to move us on to question number 2. What is something you want people to know about your school? Greg, can you tell us something you want people to know about Hannah Ranch Elementary?
Absolutely. The one thing I think that well, Hannah Ranch is a school that is committed to furthering not only our academic agendas, the basic subjects that we have right now, but also to make sure that our students are socially apt to where they do. We have several clubs and several different programs that promote leadership, and so the kids get this chance to really be a part of what it's like to be a member of a society and have a job per se, have responsibilities, have expectations. We hold our students to high expectations, but we really believe that they could rise to those expectations. So it is it's a pretty great place. I mean, I know I'm kind of speaking off the cuff here because I've been here, but I really enjoy being the principal of Hannah Ranch Elementary School, and I think we're really, for lack of terminology, a great fit for one another, and we really can get a lot of things done. We have got a lot of things done, so we're just looking forward to keeping on moving.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. G, what would you like us to know about West County Mandarin School?
First of all, our school is an IB candidate school, like I mentioned before, and we are also a dual language Mandarin immersion school. So like we 50% of our instructional time is implemented in Mandarin only. We teach through a transdisciplinary inquiry-based model that teaches students not just facts, but how to think and apply knowledge in the real world. So here I have some example. For example, instead of learning the terms of physical forces such as push, pull, and friction, gravity, we will ask our students to conduct different experiments to learn the effect of these physical forces. Instead of remembering what elements support the plant survival, we encourage students to plant beings to observe how they grow, and they can make a journal to track their observation. Our students learn through these kind of projects, and they are given many chances to collaborate with their peers. So these projects are based on the Common Core California standards and the next generation science standards. So also the literacy standards are also aligned with the projects where the students will use, for example, the reading skill to read for information and the writing skill to present their work. So our literacy teaching model is developed from the teacher college, reader, and writer workshop. We find a way to integrate Mandarin and English literacy into our curriculum, and students use the language to learn content in a meaningful way. Also, our staff are very diverse. Our office manager and principal is bilingual in Spanish and English, and our Mandarin team is bilingual in both Chinese and English. So we always take initiative to communicate with our parents through different kinds of methods like a newsletter, Constella website, and various homeschool connection activities such as ice cream social.
Love ice cream socials. Can't wait for those to happen again. Thank you so much. Excellent.
Thank you.
Miss Poppy, we've heard that Lupine Hills, very community oriented, lots of love there. What is something else you want people to know about your school?
There have been 7 principals in the last 10 years, and I have been in the district for 20. And I'm here to stay, and I'm looking forward to sort of starting to create our own community in which we can move forward with, so that it doesn't feel so disjointed, because I think that's been a concern in the past. We have some wonderful teachers, some that have been there for 20 plus years before it was the Lupine that it is now. And Sarah, even like you said, you probably even recognize a few names if you were to look back. And that speaks volumes.
I'm gonna have to do that now. I'm curious.
Well, it really speaks volumes when you're able to go back into a school and see those people that have stayed and it cares so much about the community and the kids. And to be honest, we really do have we have a couple of wonderful programs there. that specifically reach out to students that receive special services, including a full inclusion program and an MMSN program, which means mild to moderate student needs classes. So we're really dedicated to not just our students with special resources, but to all of our students, as far as really pushing that academic agenda and really allowing kids to shine the way we know that they can. And I can hardly wait for the kids to get back into the building so I can actually physically meet them and talk to them and build up these social emotional programs that we have in mind. So, that we can really come back together and be that community that we are so strong known as. Be that community that I know we can be.
Absolutely. Thank you, Poppy. I really appreciate the candor there. It's awesome. Miss Kim, Kim Moses, what is something you want people to know about Ohlone Elementary?
Well, I think first and foremost, Ohlone is a passionate and dedicated community. The entire community, parents, staff, and students as well, work together in order to create the best for our school, for our program, for our students. We have a dynamic and active PTA. And in addition to that, of our 21 classroom teachers, 6 of our teachers are residents of Hercules. And 4 of our teachers actually have their children who are currently attending our school. So we have a really strong connection between community and school. And with that, we have high expectations for academics and character. So as we focus on excellence, we translate that to mean that each student is being and learning to be at his or her best in school and beyond.
Awesome. I want to also add, you have a giant open field next to your school that is so fun to play soccer on and football, and so many good times over there.
That's Hannah.
No. You're up on I used to play soccer right next to Ohlone. Yeah.
We've had a rebuild, and we have a potential patch of land for soccer, but we're still working on getting that land developed for our students. But yeah, we're a little jealous of Hannah's great large park, but that's a great shout out for Hannah.
Wonderful, thank you. And Mr. Shaw, what is something you want people to know about Hercules Middle School?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, obviously, when you go into the secondary schools, things change a bit. So you end up you rotate through a variety of teachers. And so at our middle school, we have 6 periods a day. During distance learning, we're doing 3 of them every other day. But when we're back in campus, we have 6 a day. And that opens up some opportunities for students. And so some of those are elective or enrichment classes. And for some of our students, it's kind of chosen for them. Students that have IEPs, they may find themselves in a tutorial or a resource class. And so it goes there. Some of our English learners, they'll be in an ELD class, so they'll get their English language enrichment in that class. And then we also have a variety of visual and performing arts classes that students select from. We have a robust music program with band and orchestra. We're all very hopeful that our pandemic year-ish off, depending on how quickly we come back, won't too impact that, because it's tough to get the feeders to have their programs. It's tough to do digital learning music, but we're going to have that next year. We have graphic arts, we have visual, we have other arts with like watercolor, sketching, and things of that nature. We also have a multimedia class where kids are doing video and blogging. And so there's a robust offering that comes with that, in addition to the core classes of math, English, science, history, and PE.
Is that multimedia class Mr. Owens?
Yes.
He's done some pretty cool stuff. I've seen the website. So shout out to Mr. Owens and the multimedia class.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Taylor, what do you want people to know about Hercules High School?
Our student population reflects the community's rich cultural diversity. Our ethnic makeup is 27% African American, 21% Asian, 23% Filipino, 20% Hispanic or Latino, 7% Caucasian. I think often this is missed about us. And our students speak languages such as English, Spanish, Lao, Portuguese, Punjabi, Filipino, or Tagalog, Vietnamese, Cantonese. We want them to know that every student will be welcome in our population. And we have a very active parent community that we're very grateful for, and we continue to strive to become even more representative of our student population in our partnerships with the community. We currently have 2 CTE pathways, the medical careers and information technology, that are growing strong. We have, thanks to our partnership with Equal Opportunity Schools and Donors Choose, every single one of our students, teachers rather, have been able to develop STEM lesson plans and projects in order to integrate it into their curriculum. And we have a really strong after school programs that are teacher-led, our MESA program, our robotics, aviation, drones, visual arts, a fantastic music program. We're trying to get back our theater program. So again, we are very strong, not only in our curriculum and courses, so those students will get their A through G requirements completed, but we also really strive to try to get the whole child. So come on, join us.
Thank you. And for those folks listening, A through G requirements being the eligibility requirements to apply for admission to a UC or a CSU. Did I say that right?
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
All right, just want to make sure. Awesome. Thank you so much. Moving on to question number 3. How would parents and students describe your school? I would love to hear, G, how would parents and students describe the West County Mandarin School?
Yeah, so parents would describe it as a diverse and supportive learning community where all parents are welcome to be involved and provide input in the school. Parents shared that our teachers are very hardworking. They are risk takers and not afraid of trying different strategies to support different learning needs. Parents will also describe that our teaching integrate many hands-on activities in the class. Their students receive differentiated learning in small groups, which is something that we always want to do better. Parents will also say it is a global village of students and teachers from diverse backgrounds. And the school is focused on not just academic success for all students, but also on their social emotional growth. Students will describe our school as an inclusive and caring community. They will describe that their voices are always heard, and students love the optional enrichment programs available in our school. We had a coding class led by a parent volunteer before, and currently we have the STEAM class, we have the poetry and art class. We are also going to start a hip hop class. And we also have a Chinese calligraphy class led by a parent volunteer as well. So with those optional available, we feel like the students will find an easy way to find where their true interest is and develop from that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would love to hear, Kim, how would parents and students describe Ohlone?
I think that the parents would start off by recognizing that we have a really hardworking and creative staff. And the majority of our staff are veteran teachers, and that they've been at Ohlone for extended years, and they continue to build upon program each year. I think that history of just continuity, it means a lot to parents, and the partnership that they have with our teachers. There's a focus within each classroom to provide different experiences for growth in learning. We have a couple of classrooms that do a trout project. We have our upper grade classes are really focused on environmental sciences. Our grade levels work together in order to pick a theme per se, in order to focus on, in order to further the experience of our students in their learning. I think that students, did you want to know students as well? I think that students would be proud of Ohlone. I think that they would speak of the opportunities that they have to be school leaders. For example, our junior coaches program, our yearbook club. We have a music program. Last year we did an opera, so students got to really step out of their comfort zone and learn about the arts in a different way. I think that in addition to them saying that they really like their school, I think they would recognize that the teachers work hard to not only challenge them, but also hold them accountable in a caring way. And one of the ways in which we do that is have our students to focus on the 4 Bs. Be safe, be responsible, be respectful, and be ready to learn. And I think through that mantra, our students have really received the message well that we expect excellence of them. And they're receptive to that, and it's well taken.
Yeah, you mentioned too, the part that stuck out to me was students feeling proud of their school. I have friends to this day who have actually gone to all 3 of the elementary schools in Hercules, and that is absolutely true. Everyone is proud of where they went. So 100% agree with that. Greg, can you tell us how parents and students would describe Hannah Ranch?
I think we'll start with the culture. We have a very unique culture. Kids come to school, kids feel happy, kids feel welcome at school. We're a very safe school when it comes to looking at how kids can progress. We have all kinds of visual and performing arts activities, a lot of engagement things. One of the biggest things I think that they would say about Hannah is that we really work on building relationships with our families and with our kids. We find that, once we've solved the bottom of this Maslow's triangle, or this imaginary triangle, that first big bottom part is to make sure that kids are safe and make sure they feel good about themselves. Then moving up to the second part is where all the learning happens. So we really want to take care of that first part first, so they can move up and progress here, and then move up to decide whatever they want to do. They have the confidence, they'll have the inquisitiveness, and they'll have the education to make those decisions as they move forward to be a lifelong learner. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm hoping they would say about Hannah Ranch. We work really hard, like I said, to work with every single one of our families, and our kids are just absolutely fabulous. So I think those would be pretty much some of the starters to begin with. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mr. Shaw, how would parents and students describe Hercules Middle?
Yeah, I think for a lot of parents and students, the way they describe it shifts quickly from when they first start in 6th grade to a little bit into 6th grade, and then 7th and 8th grade. Because 6th grade is that transition year where you're going from the small, nurturing, everybody knows everybody elementary to this big bustling middle school where things are going really quickly and everybody's confused. At least that's what it looks, but there's system and processes that once it kind of settles down, it makes sense. And so I think there's definitely a bit of a shift that happens. We do see this like when we're in school. We'll have several 6th grade parents who volunteer to do lunch supervision because they just want to make sure things are good. And then when they see that we've got our site team out there, I'm out there, our assistant principal, Ms. Rivera, out there, we're interacting with the kids. We're letting them be kids, but try to keep them safe at the same time. Because I'm sure at all of our levels, when kids are being kids, sometimes they're not really cognizant of what they're doing, and they're running around at 100 miles per hour, not looking. So we do allow for some of that play, but with safety controls in there. I think also parents would say that the admin team has been responsive to their needs. We do coffee chats monthly. We do that in real life, or we bring in some treats for that. Other opportunities for parents to get involved. I think students, they kind of latch on to lunch because that's the only thing that's recess-like about middle school. And so they get a break, they get to hang out with their kids, their friends. It's a lot less structured. And so they latch onto that, but they also say that the teachers have high expectations for them. The teachers do expect them to do their work and succeed. And we're working on kind of reinforcing that at all levels. So yeah, we expect our students to do the work. We expect them to rise to the level, and we look for ways to support when that's not happening.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Taylor, how would parents and students describe Hercules High School?
So we have the benefit of being a small learning community, which allows us the opportunity to build more personal relationships with our students and families. Our students feel safe and are able to reach out to their teacher, staff, and the admin team. We are currently developing our intervention support systems. And because we're a small school, we do not have the ability to provide a large offering of classes or electives that could be frustrating. However, we make up for it with our strong athletics, visual arts, MESA, science, STEM clubs, dance production, ASB club offerings. So what we really are striving again is to provide what we can to the best of our ability, work with the community, and really strengthen those relationships. So often our families continue to send their students to our high school because they know that there's going to be support and that they have access to that type of support.
Appreciate that. All right, moving us on to our last question before we open it up. This is a two-part, really. What unique experiences, characteristics are students leaving the school with? How does your school culture / discipline policy align to this? I would let Poppy, I know that this is year one for you, so maybe thinking, in the future, like what unique experiences, characteristics would you want your students to leave Lupine Hills with?
Well, what I do know is I know that our students do have a lot of pride when it comes to being a Lupine Hills wolf, and I think that has really been instilled in such a beautiful way. I know in the past, we even have like, ow, and I know that the students really, really miss that. And that was one of the biggest things that came to me as a leader. Parents and teachers were like, we need to get these kids more connected. And I mean, I know we're all going through that right now, but for me, just trying to learn who everyone is, we've, doing the Monday morning announcements, and I make sure I have a joke every week and kids can submit jokes, and then on the first Friday of every month I do an assembly, and I'm a huge follower of PBIS, which stands for Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. So this is, where schools come up with those 4B rules or 3B rules. And for us, it's pause because we're wolves. And what does that mean? And what does that look like when you're in elementary school? And what happens when you do follow the rules? What do you get? And what does that mean? And how do you get the shout outs? So for me, those are the things that kids remember when they leave elementary school, right? They rarely remember that history test. And even though that history test is important, they also remember how they felt. And it's my goal that when students come into Lupine and when they leave Lupine, that they remember how they felt while they were there, and that they have this positive sense of who they are and where they're going and who sort of cared for them in this way. So when they do go to middle school and they do go to high school, I do still want them to come back and be like, hey, Miss Haig, Miss so-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, that piece. And I was a sixth grade teacher for 100 years. And I know that well, because when my kids would go to seventh grade, they'd always come back. And that piece to me is, what it's really all about. That's the magic. That's when you've built that relationship that that
long lasting
will stick with that kid forever. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm nodding so much my head might fall off. I'm like, yes to all of those things. Same question to you, Greg.
How can you follow up that, man? Poppy's got it down. Holy smokes. I've been the vet here for years and she comes up and she's got the answers. So ditto to everything Poppy said in a Hannah Ranch way. I think some of the biggest things that Hannah has to offer and the ways that we have unique experience for the kids is I think the teachers are really invested in everyone at the school and they strive to understand we strive to understand why our kids do what they do. We don't believe in punitive punishment. We believe in understanding, and we really want to figure out how best, to educate our kids on several levels. We are in constant contact with our families and share concerns, celebrate, congratulate milestones. Sometimes the students are, disrupted in class, and it's the class structure in progress. And during those occasions, that's when I personally will go and I'll call them down and hey, we'll have a conversation and get to the bottom of why things are what they are, or why they are what they are, something like that. We use like collaborative classrooms. It's a socio-emotional learning process. So we engage the kids in talking about how they feel and doing the types of things because there's a really big it's a different world than the one that I grew up in, and it's there's a lot of separation, there's a lot of isolation, there's a lot of video games, phones, all these types of things. So in all actuality, learning how to be friends and learning pragmatic skills and things like that is all part of the curriculum because we want our kids to feel happy and safe. So we have several programs. They do that. I do this one thing. It's called math battles. I do it at lunch. The kids love it. They come in, and it's actually just a way to quiet down the cafeteria because they start to yell so much. But when they see each other in competition with each other, like I'll give them like 5 times 7 or whatever, they'll answer real quick. And it's a way that we can also sort of promote those kids who are not the basketball players, the football players, all that kind of stuff. But we rather the kids who really work hard in their studies. So all around, excuse me. I think pretty much our discipline policy is more like a progressive policy to see how better we can become understanding and serve kids, as well as be part of their social spheres and making sure they're safe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kim, same question to you.
Mm-hmm. All right, unique experiences and characteristics. So I think that one of the things that our students leave with is this notion of problem solving. We really try and make sure that we have a focus on problem solving both inside and outside of the classroom. And that enhances the culture of our school. Because of that culture, we have between 0 and 3 classroom referrals per week. And our focus is really on inquiry. It's on learning new things, developing a good work ethic. I think with our focus on excellence and attitude and accountability, our students are learning to be 21st century thinkers and actually examine things, think about them prior to making decisions. And that includes their independent work as well. Our PTA leads a program called Reading Incentive Program. And so that's a program where our students independently read on their own, earn points, and are rewarded for their work ethic and their hard work towards reading. That's one of the examples of the ways in which we're working on this culture of problem solving and accountability. And then I'll end with an appreciation for the arts, for technology, for music. We have a very lucrative music program at Ohlone. I would probably estimate 70% of our students in grades 4 and 5 learn to play an instrument before leaving our school. The 30% that aren't included in that figure have self-selected not to try an instrument, although we do try and convince them to give it a shot. We also have had a parent-run arts program where our parents are teaching art lessons to students, really instilling the idea and the beauty behind the art for our students. And then lastly, technology. We share an awesome technology teacher with Hannah. Thank you, Greg. And each week she really delves in and teaches our students the importance of technology in our society and gives them tools with which to move forward successfully in our technological-based society. So I think those are some of the things that our kids take with them when they leave us.
Thank you, Greg. She's coming after that field next, so just remember. The West County Mandarin School would love to hear your thoughts here on this question.
Yes. So as a IB candidate school, we are fostering our students to learn and apply the so-called IB learner profile. And the IB learner profile is actually a set of good attributes such as risk taker, communicators, inquirers, caring, thinkers. There are 10 of them. And these terms are somehow very difficult for younger students to understand. But however, we find a way, like we embed these terms into our classroom management system. So for example, when teachers notice student doing something that shows an attribute, they will say, oh, Jessie is a caring student because she takes care of her younger sister when her mom is busy. So all these attributes are positive descriptors, and this is a way we reinforce the positive learning behavior in our school. We promote the learner profile attribute learning as a whole community thing. We encourage parents to spot students' action showing these attributes and send it to the home teachers, send it to the principal and me, so we can celebrate as a whole school or in their class. If it is an in-person setting, you will see these student actions posed in our school hallway to promote these attributes. And our students are fostered to be risk takers, communicators, inquirers. So you will see they are not afraid of challenge our teachers, and they always like to ask questions. They're curious about the world and equipped with the research skills to explore different topics. So our student will be also bilingually fluent in both English and Mandarin, or even trilingual for some families. Socially, our school is teaching students the practice called restorative justice. So it is a practice to help students fix and heal relationship. And then we also integrate the restorative justice practice with our IB learner profile. So for example, as a good communicator, how can I express how I feel? As a principal student, what is a good decision for me to make it better? What change can I make? As a risk taker, should I step forward and help my friends? So a lot of people in the community will say, oh, there's a Chinese school in our district. But actually, we are not only just providing the students with a second or third language, but also providing them unique experiences of all-round development that they can carry forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shaw.
Okay, so providing unique experiences has been a challenging in distance learning. So I'm going to focus more on some of the unique stuff that we do when we're in real life. So one thing that is, I think, really unique about us as a middle school is because we are right next to the high school, we're able to take advantage of that. So when the high school is doing homecoming, the middle school participates as well. So we can sometimes have some mini floats to go along. The whole middle school students will line up and watch the parade. This helps build community and also kind of like a pipeline of that spirit and cheer type thing going from middle school into high school. And that's important to kind of keep that community feel going. So that's one of them. We also have a couple different competitions that happen throughout the year. Some of them, there are a lot of people can win. So we'll do a multiplication table challenge through the math department. And as long as the student is able to do the multiplication table and whatever time we give, they get to go to an ice cream social or a nacho social at lunch. We also have some reading challenges we'll do with that as well. Our students participate in the spelling bee, and we have done the geography bee as well. So those have been fun. In 7th grade, students do the California fitness test. That's on pause due to COVID, but all of our PE classes incorporate elements of the fitness test in both 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So towards the end of the year, we do a pacer competition where the top male and female runner in every PE class competes against all of the others. We get the whole school into the high school gym and get to have the students cheer on each other as they're going. It's a really fun fun day because the number of students that are participating in this and the number of winners and the kids cheering. So those are some of like the unique experiences where we're able to build a bit of culture and bring the school together to do some things. And that does fit with our discipline policy, which we too have brought in PBIS, positive behavior intervention supports. Our B's are be safe, be kind, and be responsible. And we really do focus on that. For discipline, fortunately in distance learning, there really hasn't been much. So that's good. But when we're in school, one of the things that we're going to be working on and trying to align is what can we do before the referral to prevent it, right? So that when the referral goes out, it's something real, and then we're gonna deal with it. But what are some of the things we can do before? And those are for both actions in the classroom, but also on the schoolyard. What can we do before we see it's about to happen? What can we do to kind of break that cycle and get in that? And we do use some restorative practices. We'll do mediations. Especially if we've had some type of conflict, we try to restore and resolve those. Sometimes we'll bring families in on those mediations, and sometimes it's just with the kids. So that's some of our discipline and culture that we got going on.
Wonderful, thank you. And all roads lead to the high school. Ms. Taylor.
Our students understand the importance of hard work and accountability, but we strive for our students to leave our school with choice. We work in conjunction with our instructional leadership team to develop our students' critical thinking skills so that the students choose their own career and our academic pathway upon graduation. We want them to be able to become effective, engaged communicators with their peers, teachers, parents, administrators, as they gain the skills to advocate for themselves, and most importantly, advocate for others as responsible citizens. We are revamping our disciplinary practices to embrace restorative practices. Thanks to this approach, we have consistently had very low numbers of disciplinary referrals, and we are hoping to get to a point where we honestly have none, because what we have done is preempted our referral with other approaches.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, we are at that point in the session where we are opening it up to the audience for questions. I actually have one in the chat that I see already, as well as one that came in on the Whova app. So if you don't mind, I'm going to start with this one that was in the chat. It was put in relatively early on. So this question is, being the youngest school family in the district, where do you see opportunities for our students and families? I'm going to kind of leave this open to anyone who wants to take this first.
I can jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the unique things about our family, yes, we're one of the youngest school families in the district, but we're also in such close proximity, and we have the one high school feeder. And so there is great opportunity for continued alignment. And that's one of the things that we've been talking about as Hercules principals. How do we support better alignment for our students as they move from our elementary school into our middle schools, into our high schools? Many of the other district families are spread across large geographic areas. And I think that is an asset to Hercules. So that's one of the opportunities that I know we can leverage and continue to leverage in order to support our students better within the whole community, as opposed to just our separate schools.
Well said. Thank you so much, Kim. Anyone else want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that and most unique things that Hercules and basically Hercules has in common is we have pretty much 3 feeder schools that go to the same middle school that go to the same high school. And that's a great opportunity in the interim to get kids together on a social basis. Miss Moses has had some basketball competitions that are not really competitions, really fun events. The kids get to come together with and get to know one another prior to heading off into their academic careers when they move up those secondary ladders. And we have in the past, and I know Poppy's just is I've known Poppy, so I can kind of speak for her. I don't want to speak for her, understand, but I've known Poppy for some years now, and she's a wonderful, wonderful administrator. I'm so glad to have her here in Hercules. And I think, you know, as a team, we kind of embrace this town, the city, as a team. We're not three different schools. We are the Hercules School District, or we are Hercules Schools, and we all have the same vision for our kids. I mean, we're all in this community. We all live here, so I hope that kind of adds to it.
Yeah, definitely. Do we want to hear anybody from either the high school or the middle school on this one?
I say that we have a tremendous opportunity to excel. I mean, we had Napolitano come and visit the high school recently, last year, because we embody the opportunities, what we could be. Our students, since we're so small and we work together so closely, we could really carry on the student from when they are seeds all the way to the high school, and pay particular attention to our subgroups, our ELs, our students with special needs, our students who are struggling with social emotional needs. We have a great opportunity to be able to work together, collaborate, set the systems in place, and really just soar.
Thank you so much. Sorry, folks, I forgot to let you all know, if you want to put a question in the chat, you are absolutely welcome to do so. You can also use the raise hand function, and somebody on our tech team will unmute you so you can ask your question aloud. I have this question from the Whova app that came in. What things have you learned during distance learning that you will keep when students return to in-person learning? Open to anyone who would like to take that one. So I know you all have had to get really creative. So
I can personally say that IEPs are a lot easier online. Sometimes it's hard for families in the middle of the day to get out of work or, you know, caring for whomever, and the opportunity to have a quick Zoom for an IEP, fabulous.
Good to know. Anyone else want to add to that? Something you want to take from this distance learning experience, obviously minus the coronavirus, and implement once we're all back in person?
I'll shout out one thing. We're accustomed to using a workshop model, especially with our curricular program for RLA that we've selected. But I think that using the Zoom technology in the breakout groups have created more trust, I will say, for students to have private group projects where they really can demonstrate learning and excel with their creative and academic learning. And so I think that one of the things we'll continue to do once we are in the building is more project-based learning, in addition to the workshop-based learning we already have, because there wasn't any other options during distance learning. You had to trust students to work together and to get their projects done. And I think it's really built a lot of trust in the system that will continue.
Excellent. Thank you, Kim. West County Mandarin, do you want to add anything? Something you want to take from distance learning?
Yeah, I really like the Seesaw platform, the website that because the distance learning, we have transferred all the student assignment to Seesaw. And actually, it's very kid-friendly. Even our youngest grade, the kindergarteners, they are very good at using that app to finish their assignments. So, and also it's easier for teachers to manage which student turning the homework and which student is not finished with the homework. So I really like that system, and that is something I will recommend that to keep when we come back to the in-person setting.
Excellent. Thank you. Actually, another question just popped up. into the chat, and I do want to give each of you a chance to answer this. I think this is incredibly important and relevant to what's going on right now. From Jamila Henderson, do you have examples of how you have engaged with students on what's happening in our broader society, particularly as it relates to racial/social equity? Anyone can jump in, but I would love to hear from all the panelists in the time we have remaining on this particular question.
So in an elementary school setting, we do move forward, but we move cautiously. We don't want to set things in motion that may be too progressive or too quick. We have to be very careful of the words we choose and the language we choose. We have servicing kindergartners all the way up through 5th grade, and each level, they get a little bit more into the social development, what's happening around them. For kindergartners, it's very, very minimal. It's very limited. It's a house subject mainly. We bring it in. We make sure that there's an equitable conscientiousness in the classroom, that we make sure that we share a lot of our resources, that we praise the diversity that we have, and we engage that diversity in celebration, because it's such a wonderful thing here in Hercules that we have so much diversity within the classroom. And as kids move up, they slowly have these conversations about where we're at socially and racially. And they find the exception, or they find the expectations of what not only we have as a school, but what they should have as a human moving forward, as a human being on their way to becoming that lifelong learner, but learn through life itself and humanity, to make sure that they're well balanced. And this is a conversation also that's not just with the kids at school, it's with the community at large, that it tries to expand upon, because we really want to make sure that we can learn from the social and racial experiences that are happening right now, and make them beneficial for all of them. Not only, like I said, not only just the kids, but the communities in large, so we can really move forward on a lot of these different things.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate you naming it's definitely a community conversation. I appreciate that. Someone else want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, so at Hercules Middle School, haven't done anything really robust with the students yet. We do have a homeroom as part of the distance learning. And in that, we have some social emotional curriculum, which goes over a variety of topics, but it's given teachers the freedom to kind of pick and choose that and other things. And so some of them have brought in some current events and some look at the different issues that are facing us, or bring in and highlight aspects of different cultures at different times. One of our teachers has like, whatever month it is putting together in that homeroom things to celebrate that group's month. And in different avenues. But as a staff, well, as a district, but then also as a staff, 3 Fridays a month are dedicated to adult learning around race and equity, and a variety of different ways that can play out. And so we have an hour and a half every Friday, well, 3 Fridays a month, where it's either the district is leading those conversations or the sites are leading those conversations. Sometimes both. The district will start and then we'll take over. And so we're having a lot of those conversations with the adults right now to partly build up their, I'm going to use social emotional knowledge, but also cultural awareness, so that they're able to interact with the students on these topics in a way that is beneficial to everybody. And so we're focusing on the adults more than the kids, but there are still conversations happening in those homerooms, and through some of the history and English curriculum as well.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Anyone else want to jump in?
I'll follow middle school. This is an area of growth for us. Homeroom has allowed us to provide the space for teachers to engage in more intimate conversations with our students. We have provided resources and lesson plans for teachers via our teacher staff Google Classroom, where we use to collaborate and exchange ideas. Many of our teachers have also attended equal opportunity school trainings on equitable practices with the Kingmakers, and we're currently engaged in a conversation regarding equitable grading practices with our teachers. But most certainly, this continues to be an area of growth.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. I appreciate you naming that. Anyone else? I want to make sure that I give folks a chance to answer this. It's a really important question.
I can highlight a few things that are happening at Ohlone. We really try and craft experiences and projects that speak to what's happening globally. One of the things, we have Ohloni's Green Team. One of our fourth grade teachers spearheads a group of students in learning about environmental consciousness with an emphasis on recycling. We even have she's even created a TerraCycling program at Ohlone. We also emphasize the Contra Costa County Clean Water Program. Ohlone had 2 countywide art winners, first and second place this last year in that contest for clean water.
Congratulations.
And also currently our PTA and our teachers are coordinating efforts with the Jamboard in order to craft authentic experiences so that our students can create digital virtual projects that uplift African American history that we intend to create as a slideshow and presentation for the broader community in order to highlight African American history this month. And then finally, we're just reviving an emphasis on cultural awareness and just respect and acknowledging cultural differences and celebrating them as a community, as a whole community.
Thank you. Poppy or Chi?
Yes, I can share something. Oh, sorry, Poppy. Yeah, thank you. So I will share something that we in contact with when the teachers are in contact with students asking question about the current situation that we are facing now. So there we actually think about different ways in our staff meeting, and then we find we need to teach the student to be open-minded and to be respectful of different opinions and perspectives, because different people will view a same situation from different angles, and then we encourage the student to find out why this group of people they view this situation in this way, and why the other group of people they view it in a different way. So it's actually we connect that with our inquiry-based instruction that we want to encourage the student to find out the reason why, and then they will actually come up with their own their own research about this topic.
Thank you so much. And Poppy, will you close us out with this question?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So as far as race inequity goes, I, mirror my colleagues by saying that, we've really been focusing on the teacher and helping teachers sort of see the different sides of what we're looking at. But more practically, one of our teachers just became nationally board certified, which is phenomenal. And one of her projects has been to bring more racially diverse books into our classrooms. And so we've been challenged at Lupine, and I challenge this to any other school, to bring in more books where kids can see themselves in those books and have read alouds where teachers are reading these aloud to the students. And so this is, it's a small trickle down, but this, for elementary students, I think this is a big start when kids can feel connected and go, hey, that person looks like me. I think that's a huge, huge start. The other side of that is at the very beginning of when I first came in, I brought in welcoming schools to have a gender inclusivity training for our staff, because we have a diverse population of students at Lupine, and wanted to make sure that we're looking at all of our students, not just in the traditional ways that we have seen them in the past, but that, our world is changing and we need to be open to that. And as teachers, we need to be aware, and with the understanding that these little ones are really growing as individuals, and I want to make sure that we are we're a strong foundation for them. So so that sort of hits that equity lens.
Absolutely. I want to thank all of you so much for your time on this panel today. Folks, if you look in the chat, you will see that the links for the breakout rooms are in there. Please go visit these schools, talk to these incredible representatives. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for being here. I know it has been one heck of a year, year and a half even. So I genuinely appreciate your honest answers and a look into the schools that have made me and my friends who we are.